Um, I think like if you want pure 1v1, this is like yeah, what you've got here is probably the best setup. I
Okay.
think I kind of prefer like electrocute ignite, but it's more just because I think it's stronger skirmishing. But if your main thing is just you want to shit on Kassadin as hard as you can, I think this is pretty much the way to do it.
Okay.
Maybe you could change these. It's up to you because Eyeball is really good mid game, obviously, because it gives you a lot of stats, and Taste of Blood is not really necessary versus Kassadin, so you're more taking this because you want Eyeball and there's nothing else really to take. I guess you can take Treasure Hunter or whatever the fuck it's called.
Mhm.
Otherwise, like if you wanted stronger early game, Cosmic Insight for the Ignite cooldown can be good, and then like Futures Market or Boots or DMAT, just anything there
Okay.
works. But yeah, your page is fine. Okay, so yeah, Kessin is, as you know, very, very annoying champion.
Yeah.
It really punishes you. It's like really annoying because I swear the level of skill required for Kassadin to neutralize the lane is way lower than the skill required to punish the lane here, you
Yeah.
know? It's like, it's on you to do stuff. Okay, let's have a look.
I also feel like I played like really awfully.
Okay. Okay, so this is like a weird thing. So
Mhm.
against almost every other melee, the way you want to do kind of like your max punish is like slow push 3 waves and then hit him
Mhm.
under tower. And the reason is that most other melees have either a way of trading on you at level 2. Like, okay, let's just say you keep the wave completely in the middle, right? And you're versus like an Aurelia at level 2. If
Mhm.
like okay, maybe Aurelia is a bad example because you'd actually want the wave here,
Because
but
I die, yeah.
yeah. Well, what I'm saying is like normally against assassins, what keeps you safe at level 2 and 3 is you have like a really big wave, and so they
Mhm.
can't fight you anyway, right? But Kassadin is so weak early, and actually that's the same thing with most ranged champions. Is like the same reason you push into say I don't know, Oriana or something is
Mhm.
because when you have like a big creep wave, it allows you to still be aggressive even when you kind of shouldn't be able to, just because you have a lot of creeps. But Kassadin can't trade on you whatsoever. So you might as well just keep
Okay.
the wave completely in the middle and just like auto attack him as much as possible because it
Okay.
doesn't make any functional difference. You know, like if the wave crashes,
Mhm.
it doesn't really change anything. It's not like you can suddenly harass him and you couldn't hear. It's
Okay.
just the exact same. Corki is like, yeah, another really good example of a champ that you kind of just keep it out in the middle and that allows you to harass a lot. So I
Okay.
think, yeah, there's like quite a lot of extra autos here that don't really make sense, like on the wave. All the autos on
I like don't need to be
Kassadin,
pushing it. Okay.
yeah, it's just pushing too fast and
Mhm.
it's gonna mean like you get less autos. I also think that if it kind of gives you more time to
Mhm.
abuse the early game as well because
Okay.
he eventually kind of gets like because he has TP and you have ignite, it eventually
Mhm.
gets to a point like okay, if you crash the 3 waves, it'll then bounce back out and he can like trade all his health and then base CP and he's in not a good spot, but it's like a fine enough spot for Kasten to be in.
Yeah.
If you just keep the wave in the middle, it eventually is gonna push just naturally, but it's going to
Okay.
be quite a lot later. And by the time it's pushing back out, he's going to be a lot lower. And
Okay.
then he either just like has to TP without pushing, so he gets like a lot less gold, or he just, yeah, I guess like he might just die. Does that all make sense? It's kind of theoretical. I don't know if it's,
Yes. I mean,
yeah,
it like yeah, like
yeah.
we're
Basically,
both
the thing to
like I'm
remember is
stronger at
just
level
that,
one,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
The thing just like overall to remember is that you want Casson to like get harassed as much as possible and take as much damage, get as little CS as possible, and versus versus extremely weak champions like Casson and Corki, it's better to do it in the middle than under the
Okay.
tower. I mean,
Yeah, I
obviously
have a
this is
bad
still
habit
better
of
than nothing, but
yeah.
and Casson and Corki and shit, they're kind of a unique case. There's not many champions that are like this useless early game.
Mhm. Okay.
This is all good. This is, I think I've talked about this like a little bit on stream, but when when you're just going for like a just like a straight up E like this, where they're not
Yeah.
really doing anything, you almost always want to auto attack first, just because at worst, like the worst thing that happens is you auto and they dodge your E, and at least you did a little bit of damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like what normally happens is like they see the auto animation and that's when they
Mm-hmm.
juke, and then if you just throw
Okay.
your E, it kind of hits them. So
Okay.
if you're playing any
That's really
champ
helpful.
like LeBlanc or Zoe, yeah, those champs you always auto, and that makes it a lot easier. Um, okay, so if your verse, like Kassadin won't normally receive ganks unless he has like a jungler that can kind of provide the CC and damage on their own, and Vi
Yeah.
probably is one of those champs.
Yeah.
So obviously you really, if once the wave does crash, you really want to harass them under tower.
Okay.
But you also want to make sure that you have a ward, ideally before it goes under the tower, because that's going to allow you to hit, right? Like you don't really want to crash it and then walk away to ward. So
Yeah.
if we just like go
Okay.
back, yeah, okay. So they're jungler leash bot, so they're
Mm-hmm.
bot lane leash bot, so they're going to be top side at this point. Like what I would probably do is like maybe right now come up here and just like drop a really shallow ward. Even a ward right here or something would probably keep you safe.
Okay.
And that's
Yep.
gonna allow you to just like keep doing this, because this is kind of risky. Yeah, it's just like there's like Vi could be here and Vi might not be here. The problem is you just don't
Yeah.
know, and if you die and Cassidy gets a kill, it would be pretty much game over.
Very
So
bad. Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about this stuff. So early game,
Uh,
versus really weak laners. So examples are Kassadin, Corki, maybe like Vagar. You can just keep wave in the middle, pretty much, from or like slash freeze if they let you, like from level 1. I think also we talked, I guess this is a Zoe specific thing, but try auto before using E. If you're not like timing at something, when they go for a creep or anything like that. The other thing, try ward before the wave crashes, even if it's a really shallow ward. Especially if you're versus a champ that you're going to harass on the tower. If you're versus, say, Aurelia, and you ended up in this situation, you probably wouldn't harass Aurelia under tower anyway. So
yeah.
you'd probably just be like trying to get that wave in as quick as possible and just hoping you don't get ganked. But yeah, here your only threat is from the jungler, so good. I think also you have just missed quite a lot of CS. That's
Yeah.
that's like a hard thing, because just like balancing the harass and CSing at the same time is really difficult. I don't think there's really a secret to that, but it is more important to get CS than to harass, because the problem is all this harass is only good if it translates to something meaningful. Like if you can end up killing him or if you get a CS lead off it, that's all really good. But if he just goes down to like literally 1 HP, but he doesn't die and he doesn't lose any CS, it doesn't matter. The game just instantly resets when he bases, right? So yeah, I would maybe just work on your CSing. Like even we'll see in the other VODs, so we might come back to this, but maybe like CSing like a practice tool like 5 minutes a day, or it could just be that you're having trouble like balancing it. It's hard to say, right, from one game, but it would be
Yeah.
something to think about.
I like slightly mental boom when I play against Kassadin, and I was also on like a really my CSing has gotten like way worse. Like I was normally like pretty chill, getting like 7 CS a minute in lane if I like wasn't just like running around the map being a freak.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I went on like a very large losing streak, and since then it's been like kind of bad
Yeah, fair
for
enough.
what are almost assuredly reasons of my mind.
So I think here you could maybe get a kill. So I would, when he gets this low, I'd probably be looking for like a flash bubble when he comes up for creeps or something. I think I would probably, it's up to you. I would probably hold this Q so that I have it with my E. Because if you use Q
Yeah.
here, then you don't have it with E. I think I'd probably be thinking like rush level 4 and just like try flash E. But the problem is he's able to get 4 before your Q comes back up. So it's kind of a miss
Yeah.
window. But
Okay.
it just looks like he is so low and you have Ignite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a kill. And the thing is, like, maybe if you did any of the other things a tiny bit better, you would have just killed him anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I like that. I think this was good. Like I think you used your E maybe a bit too fast,
Okay.
but I think the like concept was good. Like let's see this. Okay, you're getting a. I think you probably should be just like weaving in more autos here because you can just
Okay.
like wait for him to commit to a direction, and if he just like keeps juking himself to death, you
Yeah.
can honestly just kill him with auto attacks.
Yeah.
Like the E
For sure.
creates a lot of pressure. Yeah, like see how he's just juking back and forth.
He's
If
just
you honestly
running.
just
Yeah.
auto him, he's probably gonna kill himself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
but that's really good anyway. Oh, that's really annoying. So this kind of
Yeah.
happens just because there is no ward.
And I'm leaning to the wrong side.
Yeah. Like, I think, yeah, by this time, you'd probably be expecting to ward there. So this is hard, and honestly, this is a mistake I make too sometimes, but normally, if the jungler comes from like a side like this, normally you want to just run into the other
No.
side instead of to the tower, because
Okay.
a lot of the time, if you run into the fog of war, they won't chase you because they're scared of Maokai being in there.
Yeah. Okay.
But honestly, like I kind of do this a lot too, of just like making the mistake of running back to tower. But I
Yeah.
think you can probably either save flash or trade flashes with Vi,
Okay.
which would be better than, this kind of
Just
situation.
flashing. Yeah.
So this is pretty cringe, but you have to crash. Okay, he didn't TP in time. Let's see. So,
Yeah, this was a bit spicy.
yeah, I think here you want to base here as quick as possible because you're on a timer of if once Kassadin TV's back, if he can TP back before you can push his wave in, it's gonna freeze and then it's
Yeah.
like really fucked, right? So I think you push this as quick as possible, which right now is fine. I think it doesn't really make sense to walk up for this heal. Like honestly, rather
Okay.
than kiting, even if the heal, I mean, I guess you're kind of baited by the heal, but I think you should be kind of
Yeah.
kiting back, ready to base. Like you want to base
Okay.
as quick as possible. Even a couple
Okay.
more seconds is kind of annoying.
Okay.
So Vi shows up, nice bubble, nice juke. So you get out and you waste a lot of his time, but it is quite good for Kassadin, right? Because
Yeah.
you kind of either have to stay. I think you should probably base just because I think Kassadin is low enough wave clear that he can't push this in time, and you
Okay.
might be able to get back. But honestly, it's just your window to punish Kassadin is kind of over now because,
Yeah.
yeah, you're like CS is a lot lower, so you're gonna base with basically even gold as him, and you didn't quite get the kill early game, and you didn't have a big enough CS lead. So, um, I guess also again, kind of like the no TP versus TP, like you really need to back ASAP. Well, need to push wave and base ASAP, and then I think, yeah, maybe just, I think what you did here, like you were aware of the jungler here, I think, because you were like consciously hugging topside, so
Yeah.
this was good. But I think the problem was there was no 230 ward up here, and then you didn't swap back to like bot side with a ward at 4 minutes, so maybe just a little bit of like jungle tracking slash warding. Well, let's see how the rest of the lane goes. I do think most of your agency in the lane is sort of gone now, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Okay, you're gonna grab a kill. Okay, that definitely puts you back in it. Okay. So, let's see, what did you buy? How much gold do you have? 720. Um, Okay, so I do think you mess up your buy a little. So boots can be a bait sometimes because boots are like movement speed is a combat stat versus skill shot champions, but
Yeah.
Kassadin's not one of them, and you don't really have issues chasing Kassadin down either. It's not like you're gonna just chase Kassadin down the entire lane to where movement speed is really useful. It's like most likely you're just autoing and then moving back, or you're like Eing
Yeah.
and queuing and then like moving back. It's not movement speed can be good for champs that literally want to run you down the whole lane. But Zoe, you're already gonna have movement speed from Ignite and W,
Okay.
or like this thing.
I think I got it to like lead lane,
Yeah,
not to
yeah.
like.
I mean, I can see that, but I think it's just gonna make you weaker versus Castle. I think here with
Okay.
1,000 gold, you could go like if you just really wanted to punish lane, you could go double Amp Tome, or you could
Okay.
go, Dark Seal, Amp Tome refillable or something.
Mhm.
Instead,
Okay.
you've kind of gone for like these tell me, okay, this is like I want to push lane, and this is
Mhm.
I want to leave lane. So this
Yeah.
is it's fine, I guess, if you feel like your job is to impact the map, but to be honest, like, you probably didn't think about this because this is starting to get like really high level, but I don't think top is gankable because it's Mord and Garen has no gank setup,
That's
and bot
correct. Yeah.
also has like trash gank setup and is against Varus
Yeah.
Janna, so really hard to gank. So I think this is almost it might not realize you might not look what am I saying? It might not look like it at the time, but it's kind of like 650 gold just thrown
For
away for
nothing.
now. So
Okay.
yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
really make sense. So I
Yeah.
guess like
I
consider
was like, I need to kill the Varus Janna and like get my Quinn ahead or we lose the game. It's like what I
yeah.
was thinking.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of stuff. Like, in some matchups, tenacity is a combat stat, and in some
Yeah.
matchups, movement speed is a combat stat. And honestly, there are matchups where mana is a combat stat. If you're against something that really just wants to shove waves over and over, you can kind
Yeah.
of counter that
Like
with
Mount or
mana.
something.
Yeah, but it just doesn't really. Yeah, I don't really like it. I think if you had Darksteel Amtome refillable, you're just so much stronger here. Also, something I didn't even think about is you actually have blue, so you don't really
Yeah.
need any mana. You could just
Yeah. The
go,
Mana Crystal was really troll.
yeah, yeah. You could just go full damage here. Wave's in a good spot. And you would have such a big combat stat advantage because, he's gone for like the tier.
Yeah.
Obviously he has to, right? But it's just that's another weakness of Kassadin. He's kind of forced into scaling itemization, and you can like punish that window.
Yeah. I am really bad at like fighting in the wave this year, so I have like a habit of just like pushing it in.
Yeah,
When I play Zoe specifically. Um,
yeah. I don't
and like
think
keeping the
there's
wave in the right spot.
well, I don't think there's like too much you can do here, honestly. Just
Okay.
because normally by the time the wave is here, you want him to be lower, and then you can kind of just
Yeah.
like walk at him with ignite. But if
Okay.
he's full health at this point, you probably
That's
can't
it.
do much except just
Okay.
wait here. Okay, you might be able to look for some punishes now. I think you could probably bait him to go on you. Like, I think if he goes on you while you have Everfrost and E, he's gonna have like a really bad time. I think
Yeah.
what I would be thinking, I mean, honestly, maybe not with this buy, but what I would normally be thinking would be, okay, I'm really strong with my W. I'm just gonna stand like over here, like right next to
Okay.
the creep, and then if he ults forward, I'm gonna like destroy him for it. If
Okay.
he just Qs, then you can hit him. Or if he Es, like he should be in range to be hit as well. I think if you
Okay.
walk this far back, there's just no way that's punishable, right? Just
Okay.
because you're too
That
far
makes
back.
sense. Yeah.
So it'd be another
Sure.
thing of try position next to CS, like when you really want to trade, but also
Okay.
just like I guess like recognizing the windows to trade. That's why I think like here you have a massive just like combat yeah, like combat advantage because
Mhm.
you have a sum or you have an item in Everfrost. And also I think you are just stronger. Like he's just like it's a bit of like matchup advantage too. He's
Yeah.
just sort
And
of
he
weak.
didn't take electrocute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do this instead. And...
Okay. I think that's not bad.
Okay.
I do think you got like a little lucky though. I think because I think the thing is, if you are forward in Everfrost and he ults back, I think
Yeah.
he's really happy with that. Like he just gets your Everfrost for 40 mana.
Free.
Yeah,
That
so
makes
it's like
sense.
feels
Yeah.
really good. And I think if he is predicting it, he can probably ult early, but honestly I wouldn't expect many Kassadins to do that. But it just kind of ends up even when I think it should be winning.
Okay.
Especially yeah, if you have like a little more damage. Okay.
What do you think about buying a blasting wand? By the
Yeah, you
way.
can buy Blasting Wand as well.
Okay.
I prefer Amtome Darksteel,
Yeah.
just because it's only 5 less AP, but Darksteel is like a lot better item, and Amtome builds in the last chapter. But
Mhm.
if you do just want like pure damage, Blasting Wand is well, it's the best.
Okay.
Okay, this is all good. Yeah, I like this. I think even though the aim misses, obviously I really like this. You have an item, you're level 7 versus level 6. I think maybe here you could even bait him onto you, cause
Yeah.
if he goes on you, even if you don't have Q, if he goes on you here, well, there's actually just no way. Like, he has a giant creep wave to fight into. You have
Yeah.
E and Ignite. So I think here you're like a... maybe a little before that you were kind of scared, but I don't think you needed to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good trades. Yeah, like I think this is really good. Like this, you can tell here, or I can tell that you feel confident enough that he can't just go on you. You know, you would
Yeah.
not stand in this range if you thought he could just ult on you and kill you. And clearly he can't, right? I think
Yeah.
as well, just you need to be really careful when you use your E, because obviously if you use your E and it hits, it's great. But when you use it and it's wasted, it's like a really long time when it's down that he can either punish you and it just doesn't create any pressure while it's on cooldown.
Mhm.
Like this 16 seconds here, you kind of
Yeah.
lose kill threat. Whereas like if you have your E up here, he he is like very in danger of dying.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way he would do that shit if you had E. So I guess
Yeah.
E cooldown, it's more just like realizing that holding holding a CD has some value.
Okay.
And also like obviously like wasting a CD has no value. So
Yeah.
try use like long cooldowns at really good times, or just
Okay.
use it to use that thing where we were saying you just kind of use your E as a bait and then just auto him like 3 times, you know? I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
I could do like a crude paint drawing. Actually, I won't, but well, I might. There's just like, you know, when we're thinking about when your ability has pressure, right? Like let's just say this is okay, that is not a straight line. This is a straight line. Like, this is Zoe's like baseline pressure or whatever, right? And when when you use your E, like when you use E, okay, actually no, we do need to do it with this. So this is you meant to be a straight line. If you use your E and hit him, it's like a major spike in pressure, right? And then it goes down, and you kind of have to
Yeah.
respect like this little trough here, right? But if you waste your cooldown and it doesn't hit, you're just in this trough the whole time. So a lot of the time you will just like use your E as threat to kind of like auto him. You know, just like I don't know if that makes sense. Does that kind of
No,
make
it
sense?
does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
just wasting it is a lot of the time
Yeah.
worse than just holding it.
Yeah, I do that into LeBlanc, and that's very helpful.
Okay, base. Okay, stay. Yeah, I'm down for that. He doesn't have TP. Yeah, so I think
I,
same thing here. You can literally just hold E, and there is
yeah.
no way he'll ever go on you, so you can just play as aggressively as you want. Especially if I
Yeah.
think this
I
guy
tried to auto
maxed
the
E.
minion.
So if
Oh
Kassadin
wow.
ever maxes E, like they definitely can't go on you, right? Like
Yeah.
they can only Q poke you as long as you hold your E, and it's just gonna do no damage. So
Yeah, I tried to auto the minion first, which
yeah.
he could have also just arred away anyway.
Okay, now you get lost chapter. Yeah, so I think kind of seen enough from this replay. I
Okay.
think I mean, it was very winnable, right? Like
Yeah.
he did make quite a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one. Discord. Let's see, what do we have? Zoe versus Talon. Okay, let's take a look at that.
This game I was mostly like worried about. It was a weird game. So I got really ahead and it was like going well. Um, and then it like got really chaotic, but I was like there were like a few times where I was like stuck pushing a wave like right before an objective. Um, because it wasn't like pushed out properly and I was really late and basically like my entire team like died or was like I just don't know like what I should have been like if it was my mistake or not. Like
When Talon's getting like the roams off, you mean?
not in lane,
Or
outside of
oh,
lane, like
okay.
mid game stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you
this
want to
talent
look at
did
that or the?
mostly. This talent was really terrible. Yeah,
Okay, where should I
you can
go
like
to?
kind of bring
Like
it down.
15 minutes or?
Probably later, like 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we just like run after the Fiora for no reason.
Happens.
Yeah, for so long. Um,
fuck you. He
He's really a
stayed.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he died there.
Yeah.
Kind of skip through this.
Yeah, I think we just get Baron here. There was one where, oh, that was really annoying.
Yeah, okay, so you guys did Baron.
I don't
Looks
know if we get
good.
it, because they die. Yeah, he just like randomly just like runs behind the pit for no reason.
Yeah, that is pretty random, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I guess like you could probably do it from here, but it is
Yeah,
pretty unexpected. I don't think I'd
yeah,
be
I
thinking,
certainly should have done it from there, yeah.
okay, Self Baron. That is really unfortunate, but
Yeah.
okay, I like the build though. Very Chad. It's a lot of damage. Okay, push inside. You back off because of Talon. Okay, I do think this is maybe your fault, or
Okay.
it's weird because I think how long until drag? It's okay, it's like 48 seconds. Normally, you
Yeah.
want to be, basing and kind of coming out of base to pressure this with your team at this
Yeah.
point. I think Rel probably dies no matter what. Like, I don't think there's any chance you can be here. I also think it's much better if Lee is facing Fiora and you're grouped
Yeah.
than the other way around. This just doesn't really make
Yeah.
sense, where, like, the strongest
For sure.
member is facing some 2-4 Fiora
Yeah.
in the side lane. I
So I
think,
can't kill him.
yeah, I'm not sure if you can save Rel, but I think you could definitely be here by now, and maybe you
Yeah.
could clean something up here. And then I think, honestly, if you don't go to this early and someone's already dead, you probably just shouldn't go to it at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Okay.
now, you probably just have to go top, which sucks,
Yeah.
but it's kind of just, yeah, I don't think there's
Yeah.
much you can do about it.
Yeah. I just like run around and then do nothing. And die.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is
Yeah.
just because you're pressuring pretty much like the wrong side. Like your whole team is
Yeah.
playing for something top and you're just
Like
playing
run
Psycho
around.
mid lane. Like
Yeah.
honestly, you got like a lifeline here where this guy missed his Q and you're like, fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough because you've had 2 deaths in a row and
Yeah.
you haven't really done a whole lot. You have Udia though, this champ's broken.
That guy was so crazy though. He would run after any single person.
Oh wait, let's see this. Okay, alright, yeah, there's no way you can get here in time, so just come top. Yeah, I don't think any of this, I don't think you could have done anything, especially because Caitlyn's not there either.
Yeah.
So here I would definitely not recall. So
Okay.
you need to be thinking, when your teammates die like this, okay, if they keep pushing, you can recall, but most
Yeah.
likely they're going to start Baron. And honestly, even if they keep pushing, you might want to take this top tower before
Okay.
basing, just to kind
Yeah,
of like
okay.
trade something. So I'd be thinking, okay, like watch these 2 dudes, maybe like hit this tower, and then if they keep going, base. If they don't, you can either fake a base in here and hope they just like chase you, or and then you like run all the way back. Or if you have blue trinket, which you do, yeah, you can just check Baron. 'Cause I think if you base right now,
I had a ward on it.
yeah, okay, you base.
Yeah.
Okay, it actually did work out, but I think it was lucky, but I don't know. Maybe you're a genius. Okay.
Yeah. The Jinx had been like pushing alone all game, so I just assumed she would keep going.
Okay.
But they do start Baron like here.
Yeah, so when this happens, this sucks, but after you... Okay, so before you use your blue trinket, it's fine for
Yeah.
you to be the first one to face check. But you need to be thinking, okay, the big threats to you are Talon and Blitzcrank, and you really don't want to face check those. So when you trinket here
Yeah.
and you see Talon and Blitz, if you were like here by now, it would be fine to keep walking. The problem is, when you lose this vision,
Mm-hmm.
this is really psychotic. Like, if Blitz comes back and Talon goes over the wall, you just feed another death, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you hit someone. See ya. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, another kill. Still looking good. Let's skim through the mid game. I mean, yeah, this all looks good. Like, there's your top wave's ages away, so you don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Make a play with your team. This is all looking good. Yeah, and then you go top. I'm a fan of that. What the fuck? Why is Fiora up here? That's random. Very random. Okay. I think again, this base is kind of fucked. So if
Too late.
so, yeah, once again, like drags in 20 seconds. Now I think because they have people dead, you can be greedy, hit this wave, and still be there for drag. But I think just not being here for drag at all is like, okay, even right now, if you're really greedy, maybe you can push this wave and then not base and just run there instead. But I think the fact that once again, like 2 drags in a row, basically, your, you know, second strongest or maybe even strongest member of the team is just not there. It just, I mean, I guess your team just runs over them anyway, but it's making the game like riskier than it needs to be for, honestly, not for much. Like, it's not like you really got a whole lot out of that. So,
for sure.
Let's make a, where's my notepad? Let's make a mid-game section. Mid-game. So I think like trying to keep track of like where your teammates are and just like what they're doing and like try like sync your pressure with them, you know, like if they're pressuring topside, you pressure topside, or if, you know, they're pressuring dragon, like you pressure dragon, that sort of thing. Also think, just as a general rule, like a basing 1 min before drag, obviously don't hold to that as like a, it's like the Bible or whatever, but just like try be at every dragon. Like you should kind of be there.
If we're contesting it, I should be.
Yeah, unless you're trading something.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? I think that was most big things from the mid game. We can just skim through the rest of it, bud. I think the mid game looks mostly fine though. Like I think the dragon thing is pretty easy to fix, and I think the side laning's been fine, so that's good. Because I actually think this is a lot. Normally the people struggle more with the mid game than laning phase, so I think it's easier to quickly solve this. Okay. Good damage. Alright, I mean, this game looks pretty done. Do you think there's anything else really from this game?
We lose.
Oh, okay. Okay, we can just like look at... Yeah. Alright, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like late to like the last 2 fights, basically. So you can zoom actually probably just like... I think it happens... It's like the Elder fight. It like goes to Elder. It's like crazy.
Okay.
So probably like right before then is like when I like get most...
Okay, let's just back up a bit here.
Or was this for Soul?
It looks like there's a few fights here. We'll just look at these ones. So... This time you ran straight to Dragon, gave up the wave. I think that's probably the correct choice.
Okay. Maybe it was this fight. I don't remember. I think it was. Yeah, I think this is where we lose, actually. So I do this. And then my Udyr runs through the mid lane to run after the Fiora or something. And so I'm stuck on this side. And then I think my whole team dies.
Yeah.
I might die.
Yeah, looks like you can't really get here in time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
so
think the position.
3 of them.
Oh, you killed 3 of them after?
Badly.
Well, I think I can see why you went for the position. Like, I think this position is like can be good, but like, okay, before every team fight, think about like who's the highest like threat. Like, what are the who's a threat to you? So in my mind, right now, this guy's probably like honestly can't really kill you anymore. Like, he's just kind of a tank. So I think your threats are like Blitzcrank Hook, and then maybe Karthus just like flashing into your team, or maybe Fiora flank. You know, those are your threats. But Blitz Hook's a big one. And then think about like who's the most important to kill. So I think Jinx and Karthus are like definitely 1 and 2. and
Yeah.
then maybe it's like Fiora 3, Talon 4, Blitzcrank 5 or something, right?
Yeah. I
So
was trying to kill the Jinx.
yeah, if we're just like focusing on Jinx and Karthus, like this is good, right? We got poke on the Jinx, but then after this point, you should kind of be walking back around because the only people you
Yeah.
have access to are Blitz and Talon, which are like your 4 and 5. So now you should
Yeah.
kind of be starting to walk back around.
Yeah. I
So
like wasn't looking at what they were doing. I was looking at what I was doing.
yeah,
Because I like didn't see the Udyr running because the Udyr was already mid lane with the Fiora. Like he was
yeah,
there, and I just like didn't notice.
yeah. And I think honestly, maybe now, yeah. Do you have Blue Trinket? Yeah, this is like kind of annoying, but maybe you try and Blue Trinket this and
Okay.
walk through here, just so
Okay.
you can kind of group quicker. But it is really annoying, you know. Like you need to try find Blitzcrank with your
Yeah.
Blue Trinket and then walk through. And if you can't, you know, or I guess maybe you can blast card
I should
over.
blast gun. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I do run that way. Oh no, I
oh, yeah,
do
you do
blast
blast
gun.
card.
I just like think about it for too long.
And then I think here, honestly, I would probably let this Talon go. Like I
Yeah,
think Talon
for sure.
is honestly just not important. Like he's already used all his cooldowns. Whether he lives or dies
Yeah.
from this point doesn't really matter. And I think that Karthus Jinx, like maybe right here, you could have, you know, queued and hit one of
Yeah,
these.
for sure.
Yeah, and I think now you probably just have to run away. Oh, okay. So you come back, destroy Jinx. Yeah, okay, so you do so much damage to those two. If you
Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny because
Yeah.
it's like literally just this is what you need to do. You find these two isolated and you fucking destroy them, so that's great. So more shit like that. And you guys end up getting dragged. Yep,
And we
okay.
lose. We lose like shortly after this. I think I
Okay.
pushed this wave out, and my team dies while I'm doing this, and then we lose, or something. No. Oh yeah, that is what happens. So yeah, my whole team is half dead, and then I walk onto Jinx traps. I think.
Yeah.
They can't see them under the Corpus wall.
Okay. So let's see why we were bot lane first. So okay. Let's see. So we've won the fight. We have 2.5k gold. I guess here you wanted to get a bit more gold for Void? Is that what we're thinking? Because like you have Void now, so you could be basing now. What you do?
Yeah.
I mean, also
I think
you
that
would have
is
had
what I
gold
ended up
anyway
buying.
because you're selling that Dark Seal.
Yeah.
So
I think I just wanted to push the wave to like get it moving.
yeah. Oh, okay. This,
Nice day.
yeah, that extra overstay, I think this is pretty bad. This wave will
Okay.
already push back out just because it's
Yeah.
closer to your side anyway. So
Okay.
that'll eventually fix itself. I think
How
the
does
just
that
in
work?
general, showing bot when Baron is up is bad. So like right now it's fine because they're all dead. But the longer you stay here, the riskier it is because they might start to
'cause
force it.
our minions get there faster.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
they'll push it.
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, so this is like a pretty long overstay. I think they probably could have just done Baron with Karthus Jinx if they really
Yeah.
were Chad about it. You sell the Dark Seal anyway, and like you have an extra 500
Yeah.
gold, which I guess goes to Elixir, but
Yeah.
you would prefer just to have the time, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
like this is one of those things where it's not your fault that your team gets caught, but you probably could have been here earlier if you played
It's
better.
like, yeah. It's like not my fault.
Yeah. Then... Okay, nice bubble. Oh, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's honestly not a whole lot you could do here. You don't really have any tools to work with. Like, you don't have flash or ignite. You could maybe try you'd have to, how can you do this? I guess like, yeah, it's kind of hard to notice in the moment, but you should probably trade your exhaust for this flash. Like, you know how if you just right click on it, it'll give you flash.
I think I tried to when I walked over it and like missed.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there's things
I,
for sure
I
that could
probably
be
also
done
should have
better.
just left. Once the Lee Sin and Caitlyn died,
Maybe, but I honestly think after this fight happens, the game is pretty
it's like
done. Like
over
Karthus
anyway.
Jinx
Yeah.
with Baron, and you guys have like a 110 AD. It just seems
Yeah.
pretty done, honestly. Another
Yeah.
like definitely winnable game though. Like obviously we didn't look at the early game, but I'm sure the early game could have been better. And then
Yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff from the mid game, so
Okay.
have all that there as well. Let's have a look at this last one. This one is Victor versus Morgana.
Yeah. So my team is like winning, and I just basically start like running it down. And I haven't played like a ton. I like basically like stopped playing Victor mostly outside of like really niche occasions, which I am attempting to do more now that like 3 out of 5 champions in the enemy team build tank items every game.
Mm-hmm.
So the lane I'm like not the lane was like super chill. The lane was very easy, but then I think I just like team fight poorly and I'm like in the wrong spots. But my question is like where I think I was pushing my lead poorly. Is
Okay.
mostly what I think I was doing, and I would like to do that better.
Okay, so we want to look at like, you mean like pushing your lead in the mid game sort of thing?
Like 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to
So
15.
I was like up pretty far.
Yeah, okay, so you're definitely ahead in gold. Yeah, up like
Yeah.
1.8k almost. Alright, so at this stage of the game, what I'm normally thinking is just, as Victor, just pure selfish, like how can I get as much gold as possible? So that would probably be in the short term, knocking down this tower, taking these raptors if you can,
Okay.
even like hitting the scuttle crab could be good. So yeah, I'd probably be like pushing this super early. I would definitely stay and hit this tower.
Yeah, it's
Like that
okay.
is so much gold, especially because
Yeah.
you have the tools to stay here. Like you
Yeah.
have wards and flash to keep you safe, so you're definitely not
Yeah.
scared. And also like you have TP, so even though you have a lot of
Okay.
gold, you can just like base TP
Yeah.
in a moment, right? So that's a lot of gold that you don't get from this. So yeah, that's
Okay.
quite a lot of missed gold. Here, just run bot lane. Yep, that's good. I think, yeah, this you're definitely doing the right thing. Like, you're
Okay.
bot side weak-sided versus 3 people, so your job here is just not to die, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're doing that well. Okay, they go back. You can go back to pushing. Doesn't look like you can TP to that. It might be worth pushing this wave and then TPing mid if they siege it,
Okay.
but I would just like watch. Like if they siege it, okay, they're not, so you just stay bot. Yeah, I think this is all fine. Don't think there's really anything else you can do. I think this ward kind of sucks. Like if you
Okay.
want to keep yourself pushed up to here and like able to take their camps and stuff, ideally, if you have a pink, it might go in this bush.
Okay.
But you kind of want your wards like here or like over here. Just something that's going to allow you to push up to this tower because, yeah, this doesn't really help you. Also,
That makes sense. Yeah.
you should kind of think of some jungle specific wards sometimes. And obviously versus Kayn, that's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of means it's a bit riskier for you to be up this far. I think you're probably still fine. Like I don't really think anyone can kill you. Yeah, okay. But this is a good example, right? Like Kayn shows up and you actually have no idea. But if you have a ward here, you definitely know about it way earlier.
Yeah.
So let me write that down. Mid game, so just like better jungle wards for side laning. Hey. Yeah, I'm down for that. You probably don't really need your flash. Okay, this is really
This was really
yeah,
bad.
really greedy. So
Yeah.
just be thinking like your main thing is just to like two things. One, you kind of just want to deal damage from behind like your front line.
Yeah.
This game your front line is like Yorick Mord. So if you want to get behind Mord, you probably have to walk this way. The other way. Yeah. And also you might just not want to fight here. Like you did just use flash and ult and you had 1500 gold. Like I wouldn't be super excited about fighting this.
Yeah.
I'd probably be you know, doing that thing where you kind of show that you're helping, but in reality you don't really want to
Okay.
help, you know? Like making
Yeah.
sure they don't flame you, just showing some presence.
Sure.
So yeah, I think
Yeah,
this
this
is
goes really bad because then. So
yeah,
I'm. The Mordekaiser had ulted the Dr. Mindo, by the way,
yeah,
which was. Yeah, it was really bad. But
yeah.
yeah, you're
This
right.
kind
I
of
should
like
not have like run
completely
in there
fucks the
anyway.
game. So
Yeah.
yeah, mid game you really want to be thinking like there's like a lot of things to keep track of, but I think just like cooldowns cooldowns plus gold are both really, really important. You know, normally you want to base, like normally want to base at, you know, like 1k gold. Or rather, I guess I'd think of it of like at 1k gold, I'm thinking about basing. Like 1.5k, I kind of need to find a base. 2k, I really need to find a base. You know, that sort of thing. It's like gets more and more urgent. But here, like if you just had 1.5k gold, but you had flash and ult, maybe you can stay. But here it's like not only do you have no cooldowns, you also have a shit ton of gold. You have
Yeah.
like 5 kills worth of gold just in your inventory, so probably not worth fighting. And then also Victor team fighting, like make sure you play behind tanks and consider threats again. Like if we're looking at their team, like who's threatening for us, pretty much it's like Morgana Q and Kane W. I think those are the
Yeah.
only two things. So if you were thinking here, like, okay, Morgana's used Q, so I can go through
Yeah.
here, I can kind of get that. But then you would have to
I
be
like.
like
Yeah.
really considering the Kane W. Like you have to dodge this to make this
Yeah.
position
I
work.
like base tank it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like honestly, it's pretty fucking hard to dodge this. Like
Yeah.
you're in a really rough spot because like if you walk this way, Morgana
Yeah.
has binding in like 2 seconds. So
Yeah. And like right when I walked in, the Mordekaiser bolted the Dr. Mindo.
yeah,
So I was just alone in the middle of 3 people, basically. With
yeah.
Soraka, kind of. With my steel cap Soraka.
Hey, TP'd. I like that. You're not really going to use TP elsewhere. Nice ward.
I
Okay.
hit here really bad.
I think this part... Okay, so right now, this is all good. So Kane, if you're like really paying attention, Morga's used Q and Kane has used W. So you can do something kind of psychotic like this. You know, because they don't have anything for you. So
Yeah.
that's like completely fine. But you do need to just make sure you get behind him before the cooldown comes back up. So like right now,
Yeah.
both of them have no cooldowns. Be as aggressive as you like.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to get a bit sketchy.
I like thought they were coming and like wasn't paying attention and then like run it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like really, really bad. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, farm some camps. Push the side lane.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Red team has slain the dragon.
Okay, that guy's just sort of dead. I think again, this is kind of it could be risky, you know? Like I think okay, maybe not. You see Mundo Tom, you see Kane bot,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you
New
didn't
York
see
was
them,
coming.
it would be pretty risky. But yeah, if they're not there, it's pretty good. So you base to stop top. What you do? Your team.
Yeah, this was like
Yeah, well, it's just not really your job, you know? It's like you're playing Victor like Zoe, sort of.
it's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing, yeah.
Yeah. I think if you just stay in the pit and then maybe if you're right here, you just throw all your shit at Kane to try and get him to
Yeah.
not jump in. That'd be good. Instead you just yeah, you just die like randomly off the side. Here you probably want to wait for Mord to get here. I think either walk down to try and get with Yorick or just like wait for Mord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
like the
that
way
is
you're
what I
going.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just tell that this fight is going to be like 10 times easier for you at this point. Because you have Yorick in front of you the whole time. Yeah, like Kane can't do anything to you while Yorick's
Yeah,
just on top of you.
yeah, and
So
he had already ulted.
nice dodge. Mord's already in there. Nice. Yeah, you're really close to Mord. I like this. Yeah, I think the team fight's so easy when you just
Yeah.
stand with them. Yeah. I like the build as well. I think pretty much, yeah, perfect itemization, I think.
Okay.
God, look at this shit, man. Like, how annoying is this? Merkez,
Yeah.
Megatron? What the fuck? What is wrong with those guys? Okay, 2 inhibs.
Red team's inhibitor has
This was bad. Like, still do like no damage to the Doctor Mundo.
That is sort of depressing. I think he just
Yeah.
heals like a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Looking at this, I think this is honestly probably okay if you. It's annoying because I think Mord should probably cancel. I also think if you're
Yep.
doing this play, you probably want to be positioning to run out this way as opposed to
Already.
like up there.
Mm.
Like, maybe be hitting this red buff from right here and then you're ready to
Okay.
leave that way. Instead,
Yeah,
they kind of close a lot of the distance and you also now it's kind of awkward to run that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
You kind of have to run up, but also if you run up, you don't really ever get out, I don't think.
Yeah.
It is sad that you
Exciting
don't really
genius.
do damage, but now you have Rabadons. Did you have it
Yeah.
before that? I don't think you did.
No.
Oh, you did.
But did I?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I guess those
Still do no
guys are just
damage.
unkillable.
Yeah.
I mean, they have built, like, full magic resist, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, side of those guys. Back on the map. How much healing is this reduced? Oh, it's bugged. Or did she just buy it? I'm not sure. I bet it's
think
a
she just
fuck
bought
ton.
it.
Yeah, it might have
Because
been.
she first bought Zonius.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think the same thing here. By the way, this is just not really your job.
Yeah.
Like, if you're
Okay.
LeBlanc or Zoe or Akali or just some champ that's really good at picking people coming into this, you can do that. But Victor is literally just like a front-to-back DPSer. Like, here, you just hit
Yeah.
Baron and you stand with your tank. You don't do this. This is very psychotic.
Yeah, I think my laning habits and team fighting habits have gotten very suspicious after a lot of time only playing Zoe.
slain Baron Nashor. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly think this is fine. Like, you only got one carry here, and he's going on Nyla anyway, so
Yeah.
you take no damage. You get to put out a lot of damage. Okay, and then the game just ends. So,
Yeah.
what would I say? I guess, like, overall, the stuff just, like, across the 3 games to work on. Like, we talked about a lot of early game stuff for... I guess, like, okay, early game stuff, it would be... I think the wave control was mostly fine. It was really like a Kassadin specific thing. I'll put it down,
Yeah.
but it's like not that big a thing. I think the cooldowns though, both like holding them and punishing them. I'll put that holding and punishing. Those are both really big. I think like the warding slash like hugging to a side to make sure you stay safe from the jungler is like all that's like really, really good. I also think there was like maybe like early game itemization, with like trying to get like combat stats. What else did we have here? And then I guess like recognizing like windows to trade like with your item advantage because it kind of opens up more windows. And then in the mid game, I think like mid game like keeping track of like what your teammates are up to. And honestly, even this time when you're doing the red buff, you probably would have felt a bit more spooked if you realize like 2 of your teammates are recalling right here. Like maybe then you'd be again kind of trying to hit this, but also trying to get out at the same time. I think like starting to consider, I guess like whether or not you actually want to fight, just because and think about stuff like cooldowns and gold, because fighting
Yeah.
with like no flash, no ult, 1500 gold feels kind of bad. And then positioning, I definitely think your Zoe positioning was mostly pretty good, and I can tell you're playing Victor a little bit like Zoe, but
Yeah.
so um, I guess like positioning for Victor, it's just like front to back. Zoe, find access to like enemy targets, and then like think about threats. So like normally like threatening abilities and targets before team fights start. So just like know who you really want to kill, and also
Okay.
think about like specifically what abilities you need to avoid. You know, like Morgana Q,
Mhm.
Kane W, Blitz Hook, Malphite. Oh, all that shit. That's just like those abilities scream to you, like I have to avoid this ability.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that is pretty much it though.
Okay.
Oh, maybe like being at every dragon or like at most dragons. I think that's pretty important because
Okay.
you get fed, but then you're not actually there.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
do you have any questions about any of this stuff?
Not about any of this. I one like laning Zoe specific question.
Hmm.
So like basically it's like the way I have grown accustomed to laning is like trying to kill people at like level 2 or level 3
Hmm.
and like trying to rush level 2 basically and going E, but I've noticed a lot of people go W second um and play for like level 3 instead.
Hmm.
And it's not it like hasn't been my preference, but I don't know if it's like matchup specific or like whatever.
Yeah, so I pretty much always used to go W second, but ever since they nerfed the sums to just mostly be trash, like
Yeah.
I pretty much just always go E second because
Okay.
it used to be you would go W and you'd get like you'd always get something useful. You get like Proto Belt,
Yeah.
Redemption, TP, Ignite, but now there's tons of useless shit like Prowler's
Yeah.
Claw. Um,
I don't
there's
like
got to be
Prowler's
some other
Claw
useless
though.
stuff, but yeah, there's just like stuff that doesn't look that good. I think you should pretty
Yeah.
much always go E. I guess
Okay.
like the
Cool.
reason to go W would be if you're versus something where you want to all in at level 2, but you need more consistent damage. Like you don't think you can
Yeah.
hit an E or something because
Okay.
they can dodge it or something. I don't know. I would just like 99% go E unless you have like a
Okay.
very good reason to go W.
Okay.
All right, sweet.
Sounds
Well,
good.
I'll copy this and I'll upload the VOD as well and link it to you so you can always go back and look at it.
Okay. Sweet.
All right, cool. And then yeah, if you have other questions, like obviously you can just ask me on stream or whatever, or just
Okay.
like DM directly is fine.
Cool.
But cool. Yeah, I think we're
I
good.
did the month thing anyway.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, you
I'm
can always
like
do another
this.
one.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, sweet.
Um, cool. Is it fine also to schedule like not 4 weeks in a row?
Yeah, yeah, you can do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
maybe I should change the name because you're not the first person that's asked that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can take as long as you need. In fact, it's probably better if you take more time just to
Okay.
make sure that we don't come back and talk about the
And
exact
like
same stuff.
yeah, like
But
running face first into the enemy team again.
yeah. But yeah, no, take as long as you need.
Okay, cool.
All right, sweet. Well, it's nice to talk to you, the long-standing sub. All right, cool.
Well, thank you very much.
All right,
Okay, great.
see you
I
later.
will talk to you when I talk to you.
Sounds
Bye.
good. Bye bye.